In front of an excited audience, 35-year-old Trevor Milton goes on stage to proudly announce his most recent achievement. It was 2016, and it seemed like the energetic and charismatic Trevor is about to change the world. The key to doing what was behind him. It was a truck that would run on radical hydrogen technology. This innovation could go to save both money and the environment. The truck was called Nikola 1 and was going to challenge the current $1 trillion trucking industry. If successful, this would make Trevor a multi-billionaire. General Motors, Bosch, and other big names all wanted to work with Trevor and his revolutionary company. However, none of this was real. The truck behind him was a shell that couldn't even drive itself, and all the technologies that he mentioned are currently non-existent. This is only the start of all of his lies. So how did everyone fall for his lies? And how could a man look so confident about what he had achieved while knowing full well that he was lying? Welcome to the Bulls and Bears channel. If you're new to the channel, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our content. Now let's go back to the video. Currently, it looks like the world of startups is having its fair share of mesmerizing swindlers. From Wirecard to Theranos, there is a game plan that seems consistent. Act as if you have a radical business plan or technology, reach out to earn billions in investment, and then fake it until you can earn billions of dollars. To get a clearer picture of how we arrived at this situation, we have to go back. Trevor Milton was born in Utah in 1982. He had a rough upbringing because his mother died of cancer when he was 14 years old. He had to learn how to survive at that age because his mother was bedridden before she passed away, and his father worked 4 hours away from his home. These experiences made Trevor driven and wanted to make something of himself. Milton took a Mormon missionary trip to favelas, Brazil after high school, and this experience opened his eyes to various environmental problems. He returned to Utah in 2003 to attend college, but dropped out after one semester because he wanted to develop his own company. His very first company was about security alarm sales, but he decided to sell the company for $300,000. According to the buyer of Milton's company, he overpromised the potential of the business, which resulted in a loss for the buyer. It was also said that Milton might have duped his business partner out of $50,000 during the sale. In 2009, he had a website that sold used cars. He moved from selling used cars to developing power plants for vehicles. However, do take note that he did not have formal training in the industry. Undeterred, he built D-Hybrid with a plan to transform current diesel engines to run on compressed natural gas. This idea was feasible because natural gas has fewer emissions, is safer, and has lower maintenance costs. However, the plan's execution was terrible. Using excellent marketing, he managed to convince a company, Swift Transportation, to invest $2 million. The deal would consist of 10 trucks that would be converted as a trial run and would be followed up by 800 trucks if successful. However, Trevor wasn't pulling his weight. In a 2012 lawsuit, it was shown that only 5 trucks were delivered. It also stated that the engines had major problems and did not do what the company claimed. Aside from this, a portion of the $2 million was used for personal living. Milton was basically bleeding through the investor money and needed more to support himself. In 2012, he tried to find another investor to bail his company out, but that company did not pursue the agreement because they smelled a rat. To avoid his legal problems, Trevor began a new company with his dad. This company was named D-Hybrid Systems. D-Hybrid and D-Hybrid Systems are different from one another, but the similarities in their names were intentional. Now, Trevor and his father have complete ownership of the company and could now work on the same technology without legal problems. This plan worked, as Worthington Industries, a new company, paid $16 million for D-Hybrid Systems. However, the company was in disarray when it was purchased. Trevor openly admitted that parts of the engine systems were falling off the trucks, which he also stated could be potentially fatal. All that mattered to Trevor was that he and his father were paid. In 2014, Trevor built Nikola Motors while Worthington was struggling due to the faulty engines of the D-Hybrid. The engines were causing them nothing but problems. Milton was earning a ton of cash, while the companies that he sold off to were money pits. Milton would continue his scheme of making people believe that he had important technology to offer. On May 9, 2016, Nikola Motors unveiled the Nikola One, a semi-truck that would change the transport industry forever. It was said that it could travel 1,000 miles without stopping and would only take 15 minutes to refill. The current global trucking market is worth at least $1 trillion, so new technologies, similar to this one, could change the game if someone is able to develop them. In a weird twist, Nikola supposedly bought the design from a male individual in Croatia for a few $1,000s, but it didn't stop the company from suing Tesla, claiming that Tesla stole the design of their product. Not knowing Milton's history, the world got excited about the radical truck. So how does Nikola plan to do this? Well, Nikola plans to use compressed natural gas technology, a project that was a complete failure since the D-hybrid days. Nikola One was to be revealed in December 2016. Nikola thought that they could pull this off despite having a tight deadline because they began to take pre-orders. They said that the Nikola One was ready, but in reality, what did they actually have? In August 2016, the Nikola One was just a frame with wheels. The actual body of the truck wasn't even there yet. There were even no production facilities for the truck yet, and based on a source that knows the project, the workers were hustling to the hardware store to purchase basic parts. While this was going on, the Nikola Motor Company's Twitter account was heavily promoting the event. They emphasized that the truck will be fully functioning by the time of release. In the middle of all of this, at the start of August, the company quickly announced that it had changed its direction from compressed natural gas to hydrogen fuel cell technology. This announcement came as a shock to even those within the company. In the middle of November, the team was slapping the truck together. There were no electric motor cores or gears on the truck. It was only axles and an empty shell. The body arrived in late November, around a week before the show. H2, the chemical formula for hydrogen, was proudly displayed on the truck's side despite having no such technology inside. During the big day of the reveal, Trevor was emotional while he talked. Maybe it was to appeal to the individual's emotional side, to shut down skepticism and rational thinking. Bloomberg later stated that the statements made by Trevor made some people who knew the truck's capabilities anxious. Nikola told Bloomberg that the truck was not working and was missing important components to power itself. The whole truck was powered by the main power cord that was located under the stage during the presentation. Trevor put emphasis on the touchscreen inside the cabin, which seemed the only part of the truck that was actually working. Trevor has smoothly used his marketing skills toward entrepreneurial fame. After the event, the company raised capital as a portion of its A-Round series. Nikola also signed contracts with Bosch and fuel cell and hydrogen partners. These contracts might be used to use the existing supplier to deliver on their promises. Eventually, people that were following Nikola's progress wanted to see updates on the Nikola One. So in early 2018, Nikola produced a video of the Nikola One to disprove the rumors that the truck was not operational. It seemed that this video worked because even Arizona Governor Doug Ducey was so impressed that he agreed to host the manufacturing headquarters in his state. Once again, there was a huge amount of buzz and excitement about the project. However, Trevor never really had plans to finish the Nikola One truck. All he was interested in was raising more money. It's important to note that hydrogen is expensive and needs a lot of engineering to transport and store safely. Nikola Motors' plan was to have 700 hydrogen stations in North America and 70 in Europe in the next 10 years. Nikola planned to create his own hydrogen through the energy from solar and renewable sources. This sounds exciting, but when you look at who was going to spearhead most of the key technological aspects, things get a little suspicious. Nikola's director for hydrogen production is Trevor Milton's brother, Travis Milton. Before joining Nikola, Travis' work is in construction, pouring concrete and building barns on a subcontract. He doesn't really have the experience for the position that he had at Nikola. According to sources, Travis really didn't do much in the company. He was hired to do a few odd jobs, like holding a rope here or fetching tools, those kinds of things. Nikola's head of infrastructure development was formerly a general manager of an Idaho golf club. He was supposed to be responsible for building the 700-plus hydrogen networks. As you can clearly see, It seems that the person hired for the job is unqualified for it, also just like his brother. The CEO of ARK Invest, Kathy Wood, stated that hydrogen costs 3 times more than electric, so Trevor needed a way to fix this. He then claimed that Nikola produces hydrogen for under $3 per kilogram. It was 81% cheaper than the rest of the world, describing a major improvement in the industry. However, when pressed, Trevor later acknowledged that Nikola produces no hydrogen. But this did not stop BP from pledging to join Nikola to create their hydrogen fuel network. In late October 2019, Trevor started teasing on Twitter that Nikola was about to change the world with an announcement that was bigger than anything he had made in the past. On November 18, 2019, Nikola started negotiations to go public. The following day, the company stated that it had a solution for one of the main problems facing sustainable energy: a high-density battery. They claimed that the battery would have 4 times the energy density of a lithium-ion and could power a Tesla Model S for 600 miles. On Twitter, Trevor announced that he had seen the technology with his own eyes and promised a demonstration. After the announcement, Nikola Motors received serious attention, and USA Bush was the first to place a pre-order of 800 trucks. Trevor assumed that the technology was worth hundreds of billions. However, Nikola had no chemists, patent engineers, or research papers that were published. In truth, Nikola had acquired the battery maker Zapco for $56 million to create the high-density battery for them. However, Zapco's technology was vaporware and turned out to be a scam. And so Nikola, who had been misleading companies, has been misled themselves. With a non-existent battery technology and the promise of a revolutionary truck, Nikola still went public on June 4, 2020. They used a reverse merger, which was a type of merger wherein you don't have to disclose the specific details of your company, something that a normal IPO would require. Within a week of going public, Nikola's market value grew rapidly and defeated Ford by over $30 billion. Overnight, Trevor has become a multi-millionaire and was touted as the next Elon Musk. Everything would change for Trevor, but he still had one more cash grab under his sleeve. On September 8, 2020, Nikola Motors declared a $2 billion partnership with General Motors for the manufacturing of an electric pickup truck. The pickup truck was named the Nikola Badger, and GM would have an 11% stake in their company. With this deal in place, Nikola was accepting pre-orders for the Badger truck, but to date, no one has ever seen a Nikola Badger on the road. 2 days after the GM deal, on September 10th, Hindenburg Research, a short-selling investment firm, released a brutal report and called Nikola Motors an elaborate fraud. The firm stated that it has comprehensive evidence, which included text messages, private emails, behind-the-scenes photographs, and phone calls that included the dozens of fake statements made by Milton. They implicated him in lying about Nikola's technology. Trevor knew this was the end of the road, as he publicly promised a full rebuttal to the charges against him. But instead, he deleted all of his social media accounts and vanished. On September 21st, Trevor steps down as chairman of the company to be replaced by the former chairman of GM, Stephen Gursky. Nikola's stocks went down by 40%, and the negotiations between Nikola and other partners were halted. A lot of banks liquidated their Nikola stock seemingly in revulsion. The company then received a lot of subpoenas and investigations from both the Department of Justice and the Securities and Exchange Commission. At the end of July 2021, Trevor was arraigned by the federal grand jury with 3 counts of criminal fraud. He was confronted with charges of lying to investors, making false statements about the company, and wire fraud by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan. The SEC also charged securities fraud against him, which required the court to permanently ban him from any office or position, and ordered him to give back the revenue gained by his deceit, aside from the fines that he had to pay on top of that. In the end, this whole thing is a perfect concept of the old adage, fake it until you make it. But what happens if the things that you promised are harder to do than you thought? When do you go beyond your own threshold and just keep lying until you're caught? For Milton, he just lied all the way through to the end. If only it was not so morally bankrupt. You would think that Trevor's story was amazing. Maybe he did this to provide for his family, but it could also be just because of pure greed. We may never know the answer to that question. What do you think? Why did Trevor do the things that he did? Was it to provide for his family? Or was it because of pure greed? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, click on the notification bell to be updated on our new videos, and don't forget to give us a like if you want more videos similar to this one. See you in our next video!